First time in Ecuador. Crazy.
5 years ago, I had a dream of living down in Ecuador. But COVID shut that down. So I told myself that if I ever had the opportunity to visit, I would. I've never done a solo trip before. I've never traveled to South America. I've never been below the southern hemisphere. But I miss that adventurous spirit I seem to have misplaced when I moved to New York. So I got to planning. I booked my month-long travels, reached out to my clients, and began filling my days with excitement. I think we're gonna go into the Amazon for 4 days. This is me hitting confirm on climbing 2 volcanoes, Chimborazo and Cotopaxi. The moment had finally come. But this isn't just a story about adventure. It's about finding clarity, as I was still curious to see the life that I could have lived years ago.
It's kind of surreal. First time in Ecuador. Crazy.
So I reached back out to the organization I had planned to volunteer with.
There's a lot on our plate for the coming weeks, and I'm trying to get ahead of it.
The plan was to create a short film sharing the stories of the families involved in this community.
Hola. ¿Cómo se llama?
Yo.
¿Sí? ¿Cómo se llama? Jonathan. ¿Y tú?
Matías.
Matías. ¿Te gusta el cámara?
Sí.
We're vlogging. Everybody loves the camera here, which is fun.
I spent my days trying to remember new names and faces. We would travel up into the neighborhoods to meet with different families and film some interviews.
Quiero presentar mi amigo
Hola,
Joe.
mucho gusto.
Es otro Joe.
Sí, sí.
It was difficult to understand the situations they were in because of the language barrier, though the struggles were obvious. But I never would have guessed that based off the smiles around the center.
Gracias, mucho gusto.
Nice view of Quito. Alex, Max, Michael and I are gonna go out for lunch right now. Yeah, I'm excited to walk around Quito and get some local food.
All right, so meet the team. Michael, Alex, and Max. They run a travel agency called Quito Travel, and they showed me around the city.
So Joe is not leaving this restaurant until he's had the eye of the fish.
The eye of the tiger.
And Max has the other one. Los
Yeah.
otros ojos.
Yeah, you have
Okay,
to
I
stop
have the other
being-
one.
You have to
Yeah.
stop being like, that's the test, which you become like part of, you know, Ecuadorian culture.
I don't want to be a gringo anymore, so let's
Yeah.
eat this eye.
Go.
Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
So,
It's just salty. It just tastes like
Felt
salt
like I
and
was
fish. Yeah.
Biting
It's
into
healthy.
a corn kernel.
Yeah.
No,
We're
no.
officially Ecuadorians.
The rest of the fish looks crazy.
As much as I loved getting to experience Quito's culture, I knew the real adventures were waiting for me beyond the city limits. Knowing what challenge lies ahead, I scrambled to acclimatize before heading into the Amazon.
If I'm being honest, I'm a little nervous about my lack of preparation to climb these 2 volcanoes. We were supposed to go up there today to acclimate for the elevation, but I don't know, you can't even see the mountain anymore, so yeah, we're gonna go in. It's rainy. Kind of glad that we hadn't gone and left yet.
It's the rainy season here in Ecuador, though I'm told the weather in the forecast isn't typical. It had rained at some point every single day while I was there, making it difficult to acclimatize. I wasn't sure what the altitude would do to my body either. I had never climbed to these heights before. At 20,000 feet, the rain turns to snow, and I was nervous about the conditions on Cotopaxi and Chimborazo, questioning whether or not the snow would be a factor in a successful summit or not.
You know, like, obviously I wish this was sun, so it made it less, so I could see, one, because there's like a crazy view of Quito down there, but the clouds are really cool. You can see them just like coming over the mountain and going onto the other side, so. Whew. Clouds are coming in. Look at this. Looking rough already, and we have 10 days to go of adventure. I'm gonna look hella beat up after the end of it.
After 15 hours of winding through mountain roads, we finally arrived at the Cuyabeno Reserve, our gateway into the Amazon rainforest. We were far out. The river snaked endlessly through the jungle. Everything looked the same, but somehow our guides knew exactly where to go. But thankfully, I wasn't alone on this trip, as Max decided to join last minute. Alongside us was our fearless guide Elvis, and an adventurous Polish family, ready for anything thrown our way.
Wow, I'm happy to be here.
We had no idea what to expect, but I knew these 4 days would be unlike anything I'd experienced before.
Originally, I was skeptical about swimming in the lagoon because there are a bunch of apex predators in these waters, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hot and sticky, and this would feel like the best thing ever right now, so.
But you can go to the bottom and touch the ground.
Definitely will
We're just not seeing.
Okay, swimming in the Amazon.
All right, let's do it.
If you do double backflip, you'll get a bottle of wine and have some here.
If you just do once, he gave you half a bottle.
Half a bottle.
Yeah. Oh wow! Uy, ya te ganó.
Well, yeah, it's not every day that you swim like in a lagoon in the Amazon while drinking tequila with anacondas. That's quite unusual.
Going to look for caimans around the lagoon. The caimans, among other animals, are found on the shore. Yeah.
The mornings were slow and peaceful. We'd watch the river flow by and relax until we were ready to set out on our adventures.
Wow, it's the tree of life.
The first day, we bushwhacked deep into the jungle on a mission to discover the wide variety of plants, insects, and tiny creatures that make this ecosystem one of the most biodiverse places on Earth.
Nice job.
Not sure how long that has been there. Oh, there's two of them. Probably when we passed over some of those branches.
Our second day, we spent visiting a local indigenous community called the Sionas, where we tried some local food and learned about a way of life far different than my own.
Cassava is the staple food that Sionas eat every day.
All right,
Cheers. Okay.
it's full.
Listos?
Listos.
Oh, not bad. It's smoky, actually.
And I try to focus on the taste
Mhm.
rather than thinking what it is.
Mm-hmm. We are now on our way to go visit the shaman, which should be a very interesting experience. We may or may not try some ayahuasca.
That's
My back after the shaman.
Whoa. Didn't expect this.
I spent my afternoons on the banks of the river, eventually building up the courage to take a dip in the tinted waters.
Double check for anacondas around.
As the sun went down, the jungle came alive at night. With our flashlights out, we dodged spiders left and right.
We're out here on a night walk, finding creepy crawlies on the ground.
Have you ever heard about banana spider?
No. But it's not a joke, you're serious.
Yeah, seriously, it's very poisonous. No, don't touch it, don't disturb
Whoa, whoa, don't move. Don't move.
What? You're
This
scaring
is
me.
this is on your back. It's just a leaf.
You really scared me. Because everything's possible here.
Scary.
Each night, we shared stories around the table and learned more about this region of the Amazon.
We'll see you in the morning. Tomorrow's our last day.
Unfortunately, that meant we had to say goodbye. And as we made our way back to the bridge, we quickly realized that our bus had left without us. Thankfully, we had managed to find our way onto the last bus heading back towards Quito.
Oh, it's humid here. No idea what city we're in. But they're trying to get us to move.
We traveled through remote towns back up into the Andes, enduring the long, bumpy roads. Tomorrow morning, I was supposed to head to Cotopaxi. But at this point, we had been on the bus for a couple of hours, finally back in service. That's when I got word of the news. The kind that shifts the tone of the trip. Just enough to make you question what's next.
Just got word now that we're back in service that 8 people were buried in an avalanche on Cotopaxi. I'm supposed to climb it in 3 days from now.
The odds of summiting this mountain just got lowered. The next 6 hours were spent getting tossed around in the back of that bus, winding through mountain roads, thinking about risk, timing, and how quickly everything can change. The news of the avalanche had pushed my trip back by a day, giving me time to reflect and recharge. The goal of this trip is to challenge myself and step out of my comfort zone, but I couldn't help but question if a summit was possible anymore.
I always have gotten a little anxious before a big hike or climb, and I don't know, I feel like I'm just want to always prepare for worst case scenario, but thinking about worst case scenario always stresses me out.
Before my trip had started, I'd been monitoring the weather in the mountains. It had been raining all over Ecuador for the past few weeks, resulting in above average snowfall high in the Andes. At 5,800 meters, the avalanche was triggered due to heavy snowfall and unstable plates.
Flying in the air, falling in the snow again, flying again, falling again. And I think that I say that it doesn't stop. What happened? And just thinking that it was my last day on Earth.
I couldn't fully grasp what was ahead, but turning back wasn't a part of the plan. Not yet. This entire trip had felt like a battle against the elements. For months, I'd been picturing this mountain in my head, and even now, standing at the base of it, I'd yet to see it for the first time. I spent the next 24 hours acclimatizing around the lodge, waiting for the clouds to lift and reveal the mountain I'd come all this way to meet.
We are in for a treat, you guys. We're gonna get our first full view of Cotopaxi this morning. I don't know why, kind of feeling emotional about it.
The summit felt out of reach, but seeing the mountain for the first time, that was enough to make the risk feel worth it. I overheard most of the other groups talking about the conditions on the mountain, and now I've heard that our chances of summiting tonight are about 50-50. The more we talk to the guides, the more unlikely it seems that we may be summiting. We got a lot of snowpack tests to do, and then make judgment calls from there, so we'll see how it goes. We've got some soup for dinner. Whoa.
Good.
It's mint.
Mint?
Oh, there's no mint in there. That's English slang. English slang.
Oh, good. Confused us there. Kushti.
Kushti?
Kushti.
This is Kushti.
Close to the top, 5,750. Really close to the top. Probably in 40 minutes we will be in the close, but in the summit. But yeah, I remember I made a snow test, and I talked with the people. I said to my friend, to the second team, I said, "Hey, Christian, the snow is not good. We have to come back." Behind me, I said, "Hey, people, don't continue. Please stop." And I was taking my gear, and I saw other teams of people, 2 teams, coming back with his clients, and I say, "Hey, don't climb, stop." And other people continue, follow them. Many people in the steep terrain with accumulation of snow. So it was the problem, and that was the reason for the avalanche. I just take my ice pick in one step. I just feel that everything destroyed around me, and I lose the control.
Sergio and I are heading out, beginning the ascent. ¿Cuántos metros aquí?
4,900.
Glacier's at 5,200 meters.
Yes.
We got a team of 2 going up there right now, and they're heading to go test the snowpack. Already it's not looking good. That's the other group. Sergio and I are among the top 5 on the mountain right now. Okay, we're roped up.
Estamos buscando la pendiente.
Okay, man, continue.
Sergio and I are now officially the highest on the mountain.
5,300 meters.
This is the crux.
Yeah, this is probably the pass for 5,300 and 5,400. These are a little bit more difficult for the Angelos. Probably the avalanche. And this part is no good, I'll probably not continue.
All the city lights that you see in the background are Quito.
Probably is 1 meter. I don't know, compactness, no. This is very bad. Probably continue another group for decision the guys, okay? Esa es una muestra de que está peligroso. Claro, por eso te digo. Dale. Ahí se fue acá, ¿viste? 4, 5, ve, acá, mira. Míralo. O sea, yo lo que les digo es peligroso está. O sea, se fue en el 3 de esto.
I don't know what we're doing. At this point, it seemed like my dreams of summiting this mountain were fading. But as I began to take my first steps down the mountain, Sergio tapped me on the shoulder and just said, "No, we continue." At first questioning the decision, but with little time to think, we were on the move. Why were we still climbing when everyone else had just turned around? I had time to think step by step as we passed over the steep terrain.
Sergio and I continued probably 200 meters more after that avalanche test.
I remembered Pablo saying the cause of the avalanche was because there were too many people on one slab.
Continuing to do snowpack tests on our own.
So maybe it was a good thing that everybody else just turned
It's
around.
5,500.
We're at a safe place here at 5,500.
I could feel the layers of snow beneath me. We moved slowly. Each step demanded focus. This was the highest I'd ever been.
Dangerous. Not very, very dangerous, but more higher is more dangerous.
Yeah.
And go, probability is nothing to working 10 minutes more for turn around.
Is this what
Avalanche.
what avalanche was?
Avalanche now, this is 2 days, and the avalanche on is frozen normal. Claro, es frozen. But today is not frozen. Ya te digo, o sea, más arriba.
So we turn around?
Yes, sir. 5,800 meters now. And turn around. Yeah, sí, la travesía.
It sucks, but it's still really high.
We're at where the avalanche happened on Sunday. It's a tough call, a very tough call. We're so close to the summit, but there's a danger to it.
Que no faro to the top.
I know.
Scheiße! Mierda! This is in 45 minutes in the summit.
That's where we made it, 5,800. It's unfortunate that we didn't make it to the top, but as these guys are saying, a good summit is getting home safe. Even if it's not the summit, it's gorgeous. Jeez.
It was a difficult decision. We were so close to the summit, only 100 meters away. But I became worried that we were pushing ourselves too far, wondering if we had already taken too many risks to get to that point on the mountain. It was 5:45, we had a hard turnaround time at 6, and we still had to make a safe descent.
I've been beat. I'm pretty exhausted from this morning's climb, but we just spent the day getting off the mountain and
driving all the way over here to Chimborazo base camp, staying in this cool dome tent. Although it's pretty cold in here. And when I tell you I jumped out of bed when I realized the clouds have parted and I can see a view of Chimborazo for the first time, so I'm gonna take you guys with me so that we can all view it together. There is Chimborazo herself. I spent the next day admiring the mountain I so desperately wanted to climb. But as I reflected on my experience on Cotopaxi, I knew the conditions were still not in our favor. We had gotten word that nobody had summited Chimborazo in the past 12 days, and I had assumed that we were not going to be the next to do so.
We've been resting here at Chimborazo base camp for the past day and a half. As of right now, everybody's sort of lowered our expectations on the summit, which is the realistic thing, you know? Like, you don't want to take any unnecessary risks. Right now, the mountains have been looking beautiful. I'm not too bummed out on a summit just because I feel like, I don't know. You know, like, it's not my only chance to ever do this, so. And I'd rather be safe than sorry. We begin our trek to high camp in the clouds. Snow's kind of dogging us. Right now it's like walking in slush. Christian's got skis. Jealous of him. Let's go. Christian, how you doing?
Joe, welcome to high camp.
This is gracias. Apparently this is the most snow they've ever seen up here. To our plan B summit goal, which is right there.
We had a new plan of reaching this castle-like rock called the Via Ferrata. But after a few more snow tests, that too became unreachable.
Woo!
I had come to terms with these mountains here in Ecuador. I enjoyed the fact that they were a challenge to summit, so that it wasn't a free-for-all up there, at least in the snowy season.
Hey. All right, Pablo.
Have a good trip.
Muchas gracias, señor. Christian. Muchas gracias.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll send it to you. All right, saying goodbye to the guides. Best guides ever.
Even though we did not make it to the summit of either mountain, I reminded myself that the mountains would be here in the future, and I knew that I would be back another day to try again. As my trip went on, I felt myself falling in love with this country. After my adventure in the Andes wrapped up, I went back to Quito for one last week. I stayed with the center filming the rest of our video and ventured to nearby coffee and cacao farms in Mindo.
Well, it's my last week in Quito. Met so many new people. It's been an amazing month. If there's one thing that I'm certain about, it is that I will be back here very soon. I have unfinished business here too. I still have to summit Cotopaxi and Chimborazo, and this next time I'm gonna add some more volcanoes to that list too.
Normally I'd be sad to wrap up a month-long journey like this, but I realized I was more excited about the chance to come back and continue exploring. I didn't forget about my goal of standing on these summits. I now want to go back and stand on top of every volcano in Ecuador, venture deeper into the Amazon, and continue being a part of this community I once dreamed of being a part of. So I'm making a promise to myself to come back and chase these dreams, as I did 5 years ago.